Fictional characters aren't getting any mercy, even if they're from a game as fantastic and phenomenal as Expedition 33. Genuine Game of the Year contender if you ask me. Friendly reminder, Maelle is 16! Okay, I'm not sure why you have to bring up her age. She's also a fictional character. She's not real. You guys can do whatever you like with her. It's not like fictional police is gonna come and arrest you. Don't hit me with the tired, but she looks grown excuse. She doesn't even look grown to me, but do go on. She's built like a kid and designed with soft, youthful features. Why are you describing her like that? She's just a fictional character, not a real kid. Stay normal. Don't be creepy. Yeah, I would save this advice to real people, not fictional characters. When the fictional character in question looks just like a real-life 16-year-old. Whoa, hold on a minute. A real-life 16-year-old? I think you need to play more games so that you can distinguish between how game characters look and how real people look. This sounds like a you problem, bro. Especially the way you describe it. You have grown-ass men talking about game is game and her childbearing hips and how mature she is for her age. It's not fiction anymore, is it? What? It's still fiction. Just because people in real life are horny doesn't automatically make it not fiction. At that point, it's not just fiction anymore. It's a confession. Confession of what? Are you seriously going to arrest people for being horny towards fictional characters? Sorry, officer. I'm guilty of lusting over Lune too much. Yeah, excuse my sore throat sickness for a bit, as I'm going through quite the flu in the last couple of days, so my voice is gonna be slightly less colorful and more monotonous than usual. Anyway, let's dive into more Expedition 33 HOOPLAS. I hate engagement baits like these. Western AA game made by 30 passionate developers versus Western AAA game made by 600 DEI activists. I love Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's definitely a game that has a lot of heart and passion being put into it. It is definitely more preferable to make than a typical Ubisoft schlop made by hundreds of overworked and underpaid game developers, which is ironic because X33 were made by an ex-Ubisoft developer that got bored, who hired a Redditor as a writer, a composer from SoundCloud who never worked on a video game, and some junior developers. Talk about a miracle! But man, this is some low-level engagement bait. Of course people are gonna prefer X33 over Star Wars Outlaws. I don't think anyone ever say that they really love that game at all. And even if we remove DEI from the equation, Star Wars Outlaws is still a bland and boring game. Managing to choose the only 16-year-old where the majority of the game's cast is 32. Honestly, I don't get why Maelle was choosing for that engagement bait when Lune is way hotter, but that's just my subjective eye of the beholder. Also, they're fictional characters. Their age doesn't matter. Being a pedo in the name of anti-woke. Yeah, that's a load of nonsense. Headless razor applies here. I don't think there's pedophilia involved, it's just laziness. I just think this engagement baiter is taking the first image they took from Google Images, but even if that is the case, they're fictional characters. They're not real. Every day, it becomes increasingly obvious that the whole anti-woke mob is deeply rooted in pedophilia. Yeah, no, I don't like the anti-woke mob either, but the one thing they're rooted for is idiocy rather than wanting to be predators. Also, they're fictional characters. They're not real. I love Expedition 33. The game is phenomenal. The characters are lovely and lovable and loveful, but man, some of these takes are absolutely terrible. X33 proved that turn-based RPG should make a comeback. Yeah, turn-based combat should totally make a comeback. I mean, what is this Persona like a Dragon Trails or Dragon Quest game that people have been yapping about? Baldur's Gate 3 clearly didn't win that last Game of the Year awards, right? I guess the XCOM franchise can safely be ignored too. Forget the Paper Mario games too, especially the recent re-release. There's definitely a bias towards anime games that people are being incredibly elitist on. I think those people are really missing out. I do want more games like Expedition 33, as in made by passionate developers who are actually fans of the genre. A lot of the combat mechanics are very clearly influenced by Persona 5, but they got way too much anime nonsense, right? What really makes X33 really feel different from its peers is the art style. No wacky anime nonsense. Okay then, I guess people are just really sensitive of anything looking like anime these days. Thus, the serious tone is consistent and very much real throughout the game. Yeah, because you can't take anime characters seriously. That's on you, bro. Speaking of wacky anime nonsense, geez, this thing is really wacky. There are so many more bad things to say about Yakuza. Oh really? Please do go on. To me, it's literally Asian autistic trash. amazing. Keep making your criticisms hard to take seriously when you say this. It's kind of funny to play compared to this refined piece of art, which is Expedition. Yeah, you are clearly not playing the Yakuza games right. And I do love Expedition 33. That game is phenomenal. But what is it with you all thinking that this game is revolutionary somehow? I genuinely think that Westerners are really biased towards anime, or anything that looks foreign or Japan. They can only relate to games where the characters look like them or having none of that anime stuff. I guess these people just don't want to have their sensibilities challenged. Face the truth, Yakuza is low-level effort with crappy bland minigames and side stories with NPC-like dialogues. Your subjective point of view is not the truth, my dude, and neither is mine, but at least I have the decency to admit it. It's objective because we all know those tons of items or weapons or rewards that you never use or need. That's barely a criticism. You're not obligated to use any of the items in the game. There are loads of games with garbage items that most people don't use. That doesn't make it bloated. You're talking to a guy who listened to K-pop in his teens all the time and having an Asian girlfriend right now who understands how true my statements are. If you have to go to your Asian girlfriend to validate your truth take to prove to someone on the internet, then you already lost, buddy. Okay, Yakuza isn't technically anime, but it is still a Japanese game, and it has a lot of anime vibes, despite the semi-realistic looking characters. You want a real anime game? This next Hoopla is your fix. There are rumors of a remake of Persona 4 after the success that was the Persona 3 Reload. There are some people who make nonsensical demands from it. Praying this doesn't cause discourse because I refer to Naoto with they-them pronouns and because I mentioned them at all. Absolutely amazing. Completely disrespected the canon and the character's identity immediately. And you expected this to not cause discourse? Nice of you to disable replies on this. I just hate how the game rewards you for pushing them to be more feminine when in the story, they're not that comfortable with doing so. First off, pushing her. Second, she is comfortable with pushing herself to become more feminine, as evidenced in the Persona 4 Golden ending where she would look like that regardless of whether you romance her or not. She will eventually realize that it's better to just be her true self, rather than pretending to be someone that she's not. And no, she's not a trans representation just because she said, "Why couldn't I have been born male?" The context of that conversation is about how she likes to play with boys' toys. You can be a woman and love boy stuff, and loving boy stuff doesn't make you trans. The protagonist just sounds very controlling in the romance route too. Yeah, that's just plain wrong. She asked if you wanted her voice to be higher and if you liked her in the school outfit when they are already dating. I mean, God forbid she does something to please her boyfriend out of love, right? As for when you said he's glad that she's a girl, that's not controlling. That's just his opinion. He's just saying what he thinks or what the player thinks. So no, Naoto is not trans or non-binary. She's still a woman, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I find this mindset incredibly sad. Please tell me she's trans. Excuse me, what? Why does that matter to you? I've been trying to find anime with trans characters, but all I can ever find are just men cross-dressing for real men's perverted fantasies. Wait, you think that cross-dressing male characters are fantasies for real men? That's an interesting observation that you got there. That implies that there are fake men, and those fake men like normal dressing female characters. How dare they, right? But seriously though, I do not understand why people really need fiction to validate their identities, because this isn't just limited to trans people. This extends to anyone who feels like they're meaningless in this world, and that they need someone to validate them. Just enjoy fiction for what it is, and leave the real world issues be when you're watching them. Those are already plenty of gaming hooplas for you, but if you ask me, there is something way more concerning in the gaming industry compared to people misinterpreting characters and themes and not knowing the difference between fiction and reality as always. What an incredibly baffling move from Microsoft. Following Nintendo and PlayStation in certain regions, Microsoft also raised the prices of their consoles from their Xbox Series S to their Xbox Series X. Their most expensive 2TB model is $730. I wish I was kidding. In GameStop, the prices also change as well. Xbox Series X non-digital is $600 now compared to the previous $500 price. I know that console sales get weaker as time goes on, but to have them get more and more expensive as well is just backwards in my opinion. inflation. People's wages are not going up, and yet the prices of items are going up, and you wonder why people are angry. Personally, with all these price increases and everything, I'm just glad that I still have laptops that can play games okay. Not to mention the previous generation consoles like the PlayStation 3 or even the Nintendo Wii are still fun consoles to play if you jailbreak them and install games there. We'll see if gamers finally had enough of these price increases and chose to stick to the consoles they have right now. PC gamers are mostly playing older games these days, and it's better if they just stick with that. The price increases of these games sure do coincide with players spending way too much money on games. This is definitely a rather excessive spending. I just spent $267 on Ghost of Yotei. Why did you spend $267 on Ghost of Yotei? How is that even possible? Apparently, that's around the price of the collector's edition of the game, which is about $250. I guess the $17 is for shipping. I do think that the stuff being offered are nice, but you're paying $250 for a collector's edition of a game and you only get a digital-only copy? No, I'm not kidding. You pay $250 for collector's edition and a digital copy of the game. Not even a full physical copy, just a digital one. I think I'm gonna sit out the $80 game discussion. Yeah, because you're practically burning money for a collector's edition of a game that doesn't even contain a physical version of it. Good on you for spending that much money and your commitment to Sony, but I personally recommend everyone else to not follow this dude and spend your money responsibly in this godforsaken economy. There's some really bad excuses for the price increase of games and gaming hardware as of late. It's necessary. I've been gaming for over 30 years and prices have stayed the same. I'm surprised it took this long. No, they have not stayed the same. They have actually gotten worse. Look at all these games and notice how every single one of them are physical copies. Nowadays, digital copies of games are way easier to distribute, but why do we have to pay extra for them? The funny thing is, I don't actually blame the gaming industry for it. I blame the whole world economy for getting worse and worse, and nobody in this world are trying to do something to help it. If anything, they're making things worse. But you know what? You are accidentally right, in that these are the kind of games that you should be playing nowadays by getting them on the 7Cs, as long as your hardware can run them. While newer games are definitely doing well, it's the hardware required to run them that can definitely be a problem because they're getting more and more expensive. Hey, nothing wrong with buying used at this point, right? And that's all for the video today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, here's a cat. Before we close this video, huge thanks to all these wonderful sponsors. You are all fantastic. If you want to see your name among these legends, then check out the links below, just $1. And you'll support this channel a lot. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.